I call the Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Thank you, Mr Chairman, and I gave an overview earlier of the bill, but let me first begin just by thanking Jacinda Ardern and Phil Twyford and George Hawkins and Shane Jones for their contribution and to the Select Committee on this bill, because I think we can all agree that this is an important bill for Auckland and indeed for the country, and its genesis goes back a long way, in fact probably nearly 100 years when you see what Michael Joseph Savage campaigned on in 1919. And it was the previous government that set up the Royal Commission, and I have to say that what's impressed me about the progress of this bill is how everyone has worked together to produce the best result, and the opposition in particular has worked hard to keep us on our toes and have done a good job, and I think the work that we've had to do as a government reflects that. I currently have officials working through the Labour Party and the Green Party's SOPs to take on board the concerns and to see the improvements or what that those proposals will make. We are taking them seriously, and I thank them for that. I'd like particularly to thank the councils for the effort that they've put in, because they have worked with central government and indeed with the transition agency to make sure that we get the best result, and it's a very tough time for them because they are at the sharp end of the upheaval. The Department of Internal Affairs has worked literally at times around the clock to keep to the timetable. But Mr Chairman, what I'd like to especially acknowledge the Aucklanders that have come together under the Auckland Transition Agency to do what is the most enormously complex change management process in New Zealand's history. And they have been doing an outstanding job. I'd particularly like to thank the members of the board that we have appointed who have worked, and in particular Mark Ford. But today, sir, is the 1st of June, and we have a remarkable New Zealander been helping us, whose birthday it is today, called Rob Fisher. And he's 66 years old today, and he was born on the 1st of June 1944. I wish. I haven't got the brains to be Rob Fisher's older brother. And what's remarkable about that, Mr Chairman, is that Rob Fisher is at the back actually working through the SOPs that Labour ministers and Green ministers has put up, and keeping an eye on the bill to see what will be the best result for governance of Auckland. And I'd like to think that there'll be some SOPs that we can find our way to support if they make the bill a better thing. We certainly don't believe that getting the governance right for Auckland is a matter of the Labour Party having it right, or the National Party having it right, or the ACT Party having it right. It's actually about getting the best governance for Auckland, and we all have an interest in getting the best governance for Auckland. And I'm sure members, given the help that we are having out the back from Rob Fisher and others, would bear with me for a minute if we just record in the Hansard a very happy birthday wish for Rob Fisher, who's taken the trouble to come down here. Thank you, Mr Chairman.
Member going to sing happy birthday? I call the Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.